So I got an email from Stephanie Hayes. It was 2 words. She said, pine nuts. So I guess that means Stephanie wants us to cover an episode about pine nuts. So Stephanie, this episode about pine nuts is for you. Today's sponsor is Kombucha Brooklyn, and you can check them out online at kombuchabrooklyn.com. Now, they make homebrew kits as well as bottled kombucha, and they distribute it all throughout the United States. Of course, there's a lot of it in Brooklyn. I think that what's really cool about their homebrew kits is that you can give it as a gift or you can do it yourself. It's super easy, and you can start making kombucha with little to no experience in a matter of days. Check them out online at kombuchabrooklyn.com and give their kit a go today. All right, Stephanie, so today we are talking about pine nuts. Now, pine nuts are the edible seeds that are found within pine cones. Just before the pine cone is about to reach maturity, a burlap bag is placed over the pine cones, which stops them from growing and opening up. It also starts to dry them out, and they sort of get all dry and brittly inside that bag. After about 20 days, that bag is taken off with the pine cones and it's smashed on the ground. That fractures the pine cones, splits them open, and releases the seeds. Inside of the pine cone are seed pods, and inside each seed pod is the actual pine nut that you eat. So the seed pod has to be opened up before you eat the pine nut. So who goes about doing this, you might ask? Indians. Really, in the United States, there was a treaty that was signed in Nevada a while ago that gave Native Americans the right to harvest pine nuts, and basically the sole right. However, the majority of the pine nuts that you're buying at your local grocery store are actually not coming from America. They're coming from China, Italy, or Spain. In the culinary sphere, pine nuts are often used in a lot of things. They are the key ingredient in making Italian pesto. They're also often used in baking. A pine nut cookie is a delicious thing. They pair really well with meats, with fish, and with veggies. They're great in a salad. And flavor-wise, they sort of have a mild almond characteristic, but they're really fun to chew. A few pine nut handling tips: buy small amounts, don't buy a lot because of the high oil content. They will go rancid quickly. Also, store them in your refrigerator to maximize freshness, and when you're using them, it's often really great to toast them first. However, be careful because they burn really quickly due to the high fat content, so keep your eyes on your nuts when toasting. One of the most asked questions about pine nuts is, why are they so damn expensive? They're so damn expensive because they are so hard to harvest and because of a sort of shift in supply and demand. Historically, they weren't being used that much. However, over the last 10 years, maybe because of food television like this, pine nuts are back in the swing of things. They are a hot commodity, and they're just starting to now catch up with the demand that's overwhelming. So maybe over time, we'll start to see a lower price of pine nuts, but at this point, they're mighty expensive. Today we're going to make a really nice, clean dish. Now this is a perfect side, or you could grill up a piece of fish and sit it right on top of our dish. We're going to make a pine nut dish with apples and spinach. Place a pan over medium heat with a tablespoon of olive oil. When it's hot, add 3 minced up garlic cloves and a palm full of pine nuts. Let them toast for about 2 minutes. Keep moving the pine nuts and be careful not to let them burn. Then add 2 cups of cubed apple, skin on, and drop your heat to low. Let this cook for about 4 to 5 minutes, stirring occasionally until the apples are soft. Then add about a half a cup of washed, roughly chopped spinach. Cook until wilted and season with salt and pepper, and enjoy. So that's a little bit about how to use pine nuts. Now, of course, a lot of you want to make a pesto. There are tons of pesto recipes, but you know what? I didn't want to bother with the food processor. Tune in tomorrow for another WTF. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Kombucha Brooklyn. And if you have Facebook, you can find me on Facebook by going to danieldelaney.com/Facebook. I will see you there and see you tomorrow.